Hello. This is going to be your first month of workouts for your first leg day. So first I want to go over these K-bands are awesome, and everyone who trains with me, I incorporate these in with their workouts because it's great for your glutes, which is what every woman wants. So when I put these on, I'll grab the label, and the hooks are always going to be on the outside. So you'll know the hooks will be positioned on the outside of the leg. So I'll know I'll start with this one over here. And I always put the label in front of my thigh, about 2 inches maybe above the knee. I don't want it way up your thigh. So kind of close to your knee. I'll keep the label there as a guide. Then I'll wrap that around and wrap it back just like that, okay, with the hooks on the outside. So same thing with the other side, label right there, wrap it like that, okay. So then you'll grab either the red bands or the green bands. Most of you will probably start out with the red bands, but as those get easier, bump yourself up to the green bands, at least for the first set, and then work your way up from there. So one band is slightly longer than the other. The longer one goes in front, like that, and the shorter one goes in back. Okay, so just like that. So a little bit above the knees, just like that. Okay, so I'm gonna go over your warm-up with these. It's not, I call it a warm-up, but it's pretty challenging. You're going to do some side-to-side shuffles, 10 one way, 10 way back, or 3 back until you hit 20 total. With these, you really want to sit back in those heels. I don't want you up on your toes, because that's not going to be what engages your glutes. So you want to be sitting back on your heels, kind of tracking your toes out just a little bit. That will help prevent you from bringing your knees in. Because the key with these and the key for working your glutes is to be pushing those knees out every time you go over. Okay? So I'm coming back. So every time I'm keeping constant tension in the band, so I'm not coming all the way in and out. I'm just taking little steps and keeping constant tension, sitting back in my heels and pulling my knees out every time I squat down. Okay, so you'll start out with those shuffles. Then you're going to do 10 side squats to the right. Okay, once again, sitting back in your heels. You should be able to lift your toes because you're sitting back in your heels. 10 to the right, then 10 to the left, then 10 squats. So with these squats, it's very important that you are squeezing your glutes for the whole movement, okay? So not just at the top, but you're squeezing them, trying to squeeze them together as you're coming down and still squeezing them as you're coming up, okay? So, and also, so as I'm going down, weights in my heels, coming back up, I'm pulling those bands apart and slightly thrusting my hips forward, okay? So I'm going down, pulling those bands apart, continuing to pull them apart and thrusting forward, squeezing my butt, continuing to squeeze my glutes, pulling those bands apart, thrusting forward just a little bit. Okay, so when you pull your bands apart, the whole time as you come up, you're going to be engaging your glutes. So I don't want you going down like this, coming back up. That's really easy to do. So I want you going down, pushing those knees apart, and keeping those bands pulling apart, okay? Coming back down, keeping those bands pulling apart. That's really going to engage your glutes, okay? Keeping constant tension in those bands with all of these exercises is how to really make the best use out of these bands. Because these bands, at least for me, I am using them mainly to build my outer glutes. So just remember that when you do this warm up. And you'll do this warm up 3 times, so all of that 3 times. I would challenge you to do it 4 times, or at least work up to doing it like that, okay? So the next exercise, we're gonna do some step-ups on a plyo box or a bench or a chair at home, whatever. Make sure it's pretty decent height. I want it to be high enough to where you're able to get a good stretch in your hammies before you come up. Okay, that's really key to building the glutes, is that you're down a little bit and you have to come up, okay? So pick a pretty decent height if you can. You can start out with body weight first, and then I really challenge you to increase the weight when you can. You're going to be doing 4 sets of 12 each side with these. So, you know, maybe start with body weight first, then the next week increase to 5 pounds, then maybe to 10 pounds, but don't be scared. Maybe you can go right into doing it with 10-pound dumbbells in each hand. Okay, so just challenge yourself. The more weight that you can add with different exercises, the better. So this is kind of how this will look. So these are with 10-pound dumbbells. You'll put your foot on it. I want you to really be pressing through your heel. So you're going to come up just like that. So you'll do one side first and then switch and do the other side. So you can keep your foot on there the whole time. Really pushing through that heel. Okay, that's what's going to engage your glutes. So pushing through that heel every time. Okay? Then you'll switch and do the other side. Okay, so this next exercise, you're going to be supersetting, which means doing one exercise and then the other one right after, and then maybe taking a quick break and doing it again. So you're first going to start out with some sumo squats with a 25-pound kettlebell or dumbbell. Okay, either one's fine. So how a sumo squat works is you're going to get wide stance. You're going to have your toes tracking out. You want to be sitting back in your heels, and you're going to go nice and deep. Okay? Just like that. Really trying to go as deep as you can. You don't have to touch the weight to the ground, but if you can, that's great. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of squeezing your glutes for the entire movement. Okay, so not just when you come up at the top, but as you are going down, you are trying to squeeze those glutes together. As you're coming up, you're squeezing them together. Okay, so really try to practice that. Then you will superset, so you'll do 12 of those, and you will superset them with some 20 side-to-side plyo hops. You can do these on the plyo box, or you can do them on a bench. Okay, to start, maybe you'll want to just do body weight. When you can, hold either a dumbbell or a kettlebell in your hand. So this is what this will look like. So you'll come to the one side of the bench or plyo box. You're going to step up, come hop over, just from side to side. Okay. So really try to push off that foot every time you come up, pushing through your heel, just like that, okay? With the next exercise, you're gonna do what's called a straight leg deadlift or a stiff leg deadlift. So basically what that is you're going to be slightly, just very slightly bending your knees, and you're going to be holding either dumbbells or a barbell, and you're going to bring the weights down and come back up. Okay, so it's not a bend in your knees and coming up, it's a hinging movement, okay? So you're keeping those knees slightly bent and then moving your butt back. Okay, so just like you're hinging at the hips. Now, sometimes it's hard for people to slightly bend their knees and do this. If you want to straighten them to kind of get the feel of it, you can do that. The only thing is locking out your knees can damage your knees. So really try to just slightly bend them. Just, slightly bend them and focus on hinging at your hips. Okay, so let me just show you. You'll be doing 4 sets of 15 of these. So you can do it with a barbell or you can do it with dumbbells. So you will grab the weight, keep your shoulders back, you want your chest up high, and just your feet either shoulder width or maybe a little more narrow. You're going to bring the weight down and come up, okay? While you do this, you want to be squeezing your glutes through the entire movement. So as I'm going down, I'm trying to squeeze my glutes together. And as I'm coming up, I'm squeezing them together, never letting tension go out of my glutes. Okay, so you can go down as far as you want to, as long as you're keeping that chest up, okay? The minute it starts to drop and you feel like your back is getting rounded, you're going too deep. You don't need to touch the weight to the floor to get a good workout in your hamstrings. So I'm just going right below the knees, is as far as I can go with keeping my chest up high and my shoulders back. Okay, so that's what it looks like with the barbell. So I would challenge you to maybe do 40, 50-pound barbell, or hold it with, 15 to 20-pound dumbbells. You just challenge yourself. It should be challenging for the, when you hit that 15th rep, it should be challenging. So with the dumbbells, so as you can see with the barbell and with the dumbbells, I'm holding it close to my body, pretty much skimming my legs as I go down. So the weight's not out here, I'm tucking it in close. Okay, so knees are slightly bent, pushing that butt back, keeping the weights right up against my legs. Okay, so just skimming the weights right against my legs, keeping my chest up high, and pushing my butt back. Okay? So it's really just a hinging motion. You should feel that in your hamstrings and in your glutes. You should feel it in your glutes as long as you are squeezing your glutes through the whole movement, okay? For this next exercise, you're gonna do some single hip thrusters and then some hip thrusters with legs together. So I like to do this on a Smith machine, but you can do them on a plyo box. You can do them on a bench, okay? I'm just gonna show you how to do them on this. So you'll come up to the bench or to the bar, whatever you want to do, and you're going to do your one leg first. So you're going to put your heel, you're going to be pressing through your heel with this. So, and this, your other foot's just going to be kind of bent or just up in the air. And you're going to do 12 thrusts, okay? You want to flex your foot and push through your heel. So I'm pushing up and kicking this leg back. Okay, so pushing up, kicking that leg back. You should feel this a ton in your glutes and in your hamstring of the foot that you're pushing up with. Okay, and then you'll just switch to the other side. You're going to do 12 total each side of these. So pushing up and then kicking that leg back, feeling it in that glute. So you'll do 12 each side and you'll superset it with legs together. Okay, so you'll have both legs on the bench or on this bar or plyo box, and you're going to thrust your hips up, pushing through those heels, squeezing your glutes the whole time. Okay, so not just when I come up am I squeezing them, but as I'm bringing them down, I'm also squeezing them. Okay, so really thrusting up, just like that. And you will do 20 of those, okay? So you'll superset both of those, and that is the end of your first leg day, okay?